Welcome to another episode on the BrokeRock server. I know what you're thinking. Mike, where have you been? There are hundreds of reasons I haven't been making content lately, but here are just some of the things that have happened to me since my last upload. I took a trip to Las Vegas. I went through an incredibly busy holiday season at work. I got a cold. I got COVID. I started to prioritize my personal fitness more. I made incremental repairs to my house. I've had a new nephew come into the world. I've had my mother visit me from Europe, and I'm dealing with a very passive-aggressive raccoon living underneath my house. And unlike everything everywhere all at once, this one doesn't help me cook. It just makes clawing noises when I'm trying to sleep, and when I see the hole that he crawls in and out through, he just claws his way through it. And when I board up the pathway to it, he just digs a tunnel underneath it. And when I mount barbed wire around the area, it wriggles through it. And when I soak tennis balls in vinegar and coat them in cayenne pepper and toss them in, he tosses them back out. So the TLDR is, it's all the raccoon's fault. But enough about real life, that's not why you're here for. Let's talk about what I'm doing from now on. I think my style needs an overhaul, and I need to start releasing some more experimental videos to test out different approaches to my content. Now, this doesn't mean that my classic style is completely gone. I will still occasionally stream with my webcam like before, and definitely will be doing things like before whenever I'm playing alongside another server member. However, I do need to make some changes to the way my content is produced, because after so many years of this, I've come to the realization that with so much Let's Play competition, I need to do something different to stand out. The majority of my BrokeRock content from now on will likely be voiceover to make it easier for me to record and to edit. That being said, I am also looking for an editor to help me out with my channel because it is getting a bit too much for me to balance this hobby while maintaining a full-time job. Meanwhile, approaching my episodes with the mindset that this is simply a documentary of what goes on the server will give an idea of what I'm going for here, and that will in turn help my content show things that other Let's Plays probably don't. By recording your live reaction to the gameplay in the moment, you give a very candid and immediate experience to the viewer, which is great to immerse yourself in a game that someone else is playing, but because so many creators are going into it with that approach, it can be very hard to avoid retreading some of the same footsteps done to death by big servers and larger channels. At the end of the day, how can I compete with someone who makes content full-time while I have to work a full-time job on top of this? And I think this might just be the answer. But again, this is just an experiment, and I might evolve this channel still. Now, I did actually record an episode a few months back, but I cannot edit it together after such a long time. It's been way too long, the idea thread is gone, and nothing makes sense, and it's impossible to salvage an idea that belongs in the trash anyway. So I think starting from scratch is the best when coming back after such a long hiatus. So why don't we see what I did in that unreleased episode. The first thing that I want to show you guys is the AFK room that I built. You can see I utilize a lot of sculk and deep slate. I think it's looking really nice. And of course it's built this high to be in that sweet spot that you need to be to have the mob spawn in the mob spawner. Taking you all the way to the top here so I can show you the streakers that I have on top. I think that gives them a nice little crown looking thing. But you can see also there's water elevators. Here we go. Perspective all the way at the bottom. This is how you get up into the room. This water elevator does take a while to get up there because it does have to be over 120 blocks above the ground so that everything despawns. That's already been spawned up, but as you can see, it's nice and dark up here, save for that little window there that I left to film that time lapse that you saw at the beginning. Nice little warden face there. That's how I got that shot. So let's close this up and see how dark it can actually get. But of course nothing can spawn up here because it's made of glass. But if I take off my HUD, you can see how nice it looks. But let's go ahead and move on to the shopping district, which is where I built a shop months ago. I'm not sure how many people actually know it's open for business because I didn't release content on it. Hi there. You thought the video was buffering, didn't you? It's okay. It's just me, MysteriousPayne, here to remind you to hit that like button. because it would really help Mike a lot. And while you're at it, go right ahead and subscribe and hit that bell to get notified when he posts new content for y'all. Anyway, let's get back to the content. I did record it, but, as I said earlier, I just didn't want to deal with that episode. But this is the shop. It's kind of noisy and annoying, but it does grab your attention. So hopefully now people know that it's open for business. People have made some purchases, I think. There are some diamonds in here somewhere. Yeah, there you go. People have been buying the stuff. So I think I need to restock pretty soon. Maybe lower the prices. There I am accidentally placing a boat down. Let's get rid of that. But yeah, this is now open for business. I am selling the skulk. I have plenty of it. So now the question is, I just need to wait for people to buy it, although I don't think it's going to be that useful. I'm not sure how many people are actually using it. But I do have some purchases, so we'll see. We'll see. Hopefully I can get some more. Next up, let's head over back to the base and show you that I gathered some allays. Hey Old Guy was able to let me duplicate one of his allays that he found, and now I have some. Of course, all you need to do is listen to some music. You can see they start dancing around, and you grab some amethyst, and you give it to them, and they will they will give out some hearts, and they will duplicate themselves. They're not even breeding. You just need one of them to do it. So I think that's pretty cool. We're going to make some great use of these allays. They're one of the most useful mobs to be added in recent memory. I love them. We're going to be using them for every farm that we get a chance to, if we can. I mean, they're a new and improved way to do things. They can, distinguish between different kinds of items. They're kind of like item filters almost to themselves. Stackable item filters, maybe make some of those. There's a lot of good potential with this, so I'm really excited to see what we can do in the limited time that we have, because I'm pretty sure this season doesn't have that much steam going left over. We can definitely see 1.20 coming around. We're hoping to have some discussions about what we're going to do when that comes out, but for now, I'm enjoying this. I'm perfectly okay with using the 119 mechanics to their fullest extent before we move on, so we'll see what happens, but I love allays, bottom line. Next up, I decided to build a mending chamber. What that is, well, it will become apparent pretty soon in the episode, but as I'm building it, I might as well explain it. It's a large obsidian cage that I can use to fill up with skulk and then drop TNT into, so that I get the experience all at once, and I can mend some of my Silk Touch items, especially my Silk Touch hoe, because the Silk Touch hoe is what collects the skulk for me to use it like this. So it decreases in durability, and it collects the skulk, so I have to have a way to repair it. So this is one of those ways. Another use for it is, of course, to repair every other tool, and including my armor and other tools, everything like that. I can't just take my pickaxe and start going ham at the skulk hoping it'll repair it. It's just, it's going to be way too slow. So I figured that's the best way to do it. And here we are with it already built and the redstone and everything ready. We don't need that much TNT. We just have to fill up this whole area with the skulk and then drop one targeted one so that it lands and does everything efficiently. So we should be able to see it in action here. Yep, there we go. It's already filled up, and normally this would take a while to do manually, do one at a time, but it's ready to go. Let's see what it does when the TNT explodes. Now, of course, when I first did this, I forgot that there was a sheep there, and I didn't notice until after the TNT dropped. So, sorry I injured this, but the contraption seemed to be working just fine. And as I walked up to it, you can see all the experience was trickling down there beautifully. Of course, there were some all the way at the top as well that I could just walk in and get. Maybe it was a different one. Maybe that happened later. But yeah, as you could definitely see, it did work. Now, there was a lot of excess, and I had to drop some more TNT to get that, but that's fine. That means that there's no wasted TNT. I'm not, other than the obsidian at the very bottom that you can see exposed, that just means that every blastable block within the radius of the TNT had skulk around it. It didn't have air blocks or it didn't have obsidian on the side. So that's good, and that's really helpful to get a whole bunch of more experience, as you can see. Now at the bottom there was a hole, so later on I fixed that up by just sticking a bit of a hole there and fixing that up. And of course I use this to mend all of my tools. Next up, I went to Voided and Jomica's shop. This is a really nice one. They're selling frog lights. I specifically wanted the pearlescent frog light. And I might actually be building one of these farms myself. I don't want to compete with them in my shop. If I did build one of these farms, I would probably just donate all the excess frog lamps to this shop. But yeah, I went and bought myself some so I can light up the Skulk farm. And I did. As you can see, I'm placing here the pearlescent frog lamps, and I challenge anyone to find a better light source for this situation right here. It looks great with the blue and the purple and the Skulk colors. Everything looks great. Now, of course, I don't think in the moment I realized that they were off-center, that one was a bit shorter than the other, but I think eventually I went ahead and fixed it. But yeah, as I was saying, the frog lamps, perfect. They're like a chef's kiss for lighting blocks. Next up, though, I went ahead and hung out with Kai for a bit because he invited me over, and I just had a great time hanging out at his base, doing absolutely nothing. Neither of us recorded. We just hung out at his base. He showed me around his ocean monument that he had dug out, all the little contraptions that he made, and all the towers and buildings that he made, and it was a lot of fun, I gotta say. Recording content for Minecraft is actually kind of hard. It kind of, to a certain extent, of course, sucks the fun out of actually playing the game, and sometimes you forget how fun the game can actually be when you're just playing it to enjoy it, not because you're worried about, making a video, not because you're worried about whether you've hit record or not because you've worried about if your audio quality is good. It's nice to just play the game. And this is what I just did in this moment, and it was great fun. And of course, at the very end, I got a bit of a bonus. He tossed me one of his old elytras. He let me keep it, and some rockets. So now I can do some nice flyby shots. So a very good thank you to Kai there. I had to give him a round of applause, as you saw. And a very big thank you. You should, of course, go and check out his channel. I will have the link in the description. But look at this flyby shot, right? I can now do shots like this. I've done better, of course, but this is quite nice. I love doing shots like this. I love making content for you guys, so hopefully it looks nice in the end.